Okay, we're just getting ready for part two. Such a great conversation. Oh my goodness. I find it so hard to just keep these, to reduce it to 1 hour, because there's just so much that we want to say. Okay, let's just bring Idris back in again.
There we go.
Idris, part
Back.
two.
Let's go.
Part two, let's do this. It's it's so brilliant to talk to you. It's so
Yeah,
brilliant to talk to
likewise.
you. And I think that you're, we'll wait for sort of a few more people to come in, but the conversation around, where we, who kind of, who's behind us, who's backing us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who's supporting us on our journey. And I think it's a really important one. And, and it's really interesting because I just recently done a chat. I do these live Instagram lives with my mother on a Sunday, and we like choose different topics, and it's like Converse with Ma, we call it. And we just did one on sisterhood, and I think it really does make you think
Mm,
about, okay, who are the men, but who are the women, or who are the men? Do you know what I mean? Like when you think about sort of your own gender, that have backed you over the years, you know what I mean? Or who's missing from that equation, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, as we start talking about institutions, is definitely a timely conversation because there is a lot of pressure put in institutions. But you're right. I think that there there has to be in that conversation accountability on both sides. But I think that, when we see sort of the generational cycles, in terms of like our experiences not being that dissimilar to the experiences of those that are in education right now,
Hmm.
and recognizing that something drastic really needs to change, and actually we do need to hold these institutions to account.
That's
But
right.
you're right about us starting our own thing, right? I think that it has to be both,
It's got to be
it's
both. It's got to be very diverse. It's got to be a myriad of spaces and options because you want vitality ultimately.
yes,
You just want
yeah,
vitality in the fields and you want, just variation and arguments and
yeah,
disagreements and alternatives. And there's not this sort of one mono definition of perfection. The idea is that
right,
you want choice, you want access, you want opportunities for different people to be successful in different ways. And the
yes,
problem, because the issue is that it's been so narrow. The issue
yeah,
is that it's been so closed off and so narrow, which is antithetical to really, if you think about what the performing arts are supposed to be. This performing arts, the arts in general, are supposed to be about humanity, you know what I mean, and all of its messiness. So
mhm,
it's incumbent on us to make sure that it doesn't look like one thing. It has to
yeah.
look like humanity looks.
And also that we address the balance when it comes to, agency and authority and power. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That power dynamic, we have to shift that so it doesn't always feel as though we're looking to just like one thing and giving that all of our attention, all of our power. We have to preserve some power back for ourselves by creating our own as well. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
So talking about that, what's your hopes for the artistic communities? What is your hopes in terms of like, you are, heading a center,
Hmm.
as well as you're creating art. So you're doing both. You're kind of like,
Hmm.
I think we're similar in that sense that you're creative, but you also have your, people who are working, for you, and you're also designing. You're also a part of designing those models and
Yeah.
designing those practices. But what's in terms of like artistic responsibilities, like what is your hopes for the um the artistic communities that are here present, the ones that are older than us,
Yeah.
and also the ones that are coming into the industry,
Oh,
in terms of sort of
that's a wonderful,
opportunities.
that's a really, really good question. I mean, I think that similar to kind of what I was just getting at a second ago is that, ultimately we want to be truly, truly inclusive and we want to make the performing arts in particular a central and like central part of everyone's lives. Like that beyond this idea of Broadway or just the straight transactional kind of ideas about performing arts. Like performing arts, the arts in general, need to always have a seat at the table when we're talking about civics, when we're talking about, education, when we're
Yes.
talking about our communities, health, all these things. There are things, those of us in the arts, there are skills we have that are transferable. There are things that we can do to actually make difficult conversations easier. For
Yeah.
example, in June, I put out something called Free Play, open source scripts for an anti-racist tomorrow, and these
Mm.
are plays that are available anywhere. You just go online. I don't remember what the URL is, but they're called Free Play, and there's 5 scripts. You can download them. Hashtag Matter is one of them. Actually,
Nice.
yeah,
Woo! That was the
and
one that was part of the BLBW
yeah,
showcase in the
yep,
UK at the Bush
yeah.
Theatre.
And then so that one, another play called Black Flag, which is a pre-existing one act, and then 3 new plays that I wrote, and these are intended for like communities, families, younger readers to just read. And like some people can
Nice.
produce them, some people can teach them, and they're just available for everybody. And I did this as a goal not to get go the traditional route that playwrights go in terms
Mhm.
of their work. I did this to stimulate conversation. I did this
Lovely.
explicitly as a form of I won't say activism, but I'll say, just like, here's my contribution to
Yeah.
this issue and this ongoing conversation. So for me, that's what it looks like. It looks like um us responding in many ways, not just purely for commerce or for capital. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either. We want artists to work. We want artists to make money. We want uh, spectacle. We want people to have a good time, but
Yeah.
we also have other obligations as a species as well. And I think that's the role of the griots, the storytellers, the artists. That it's our role is a fundamental one, an essential
That's
one.
am that's amazing, and I would love us to talk about that because there could be a second stage to that I would love to propose to you. So we
Sure.
should definitely talk sort of outside of this writers' room.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so just moving on in terms of like your for people who have just joined, in terms of Idris, we're just talking about Idris and his sort of inspiration coming through sort of hip hop and being really inspired by hip hop as a performer, as a rapper, as well as a poet, and how that has bled into his work to date. Watch part 1 if you've missed that conversation. But I would say that what is your greatest highlight, from your career today? I mean, you are such a fearless writer that I really enjoy just looking at your trajectory and engaging with your work. But what's been your career highlight?
Oh man, that's there've been a few. It's hard to like boil it down to one.
Right.
I mean, I gotta say that I remember, I sort of had two. There's sort of like a couple chapters of my trajectory as a creative person, but specifically limiting it to playwriting for a second. I remember, I had a theater company in Chicago called Hermit Arts, and we ran that for like 6 or 7 years. Very DIY, very scrappy. We were doing everything, writing the plays, taking the tickets, sweeping the floor, all of it.
Right.
And it was great. It was a great time. When I sort of decided to make the transition to become a more traditional, like, produced playwright, focus primarily on playwriting and try to actually make money from it. I wrote the very first draft of the first breakbeat play, How We Got On, and I remember it didn't even have an ending yet, and I had like a very informal table reading. And walking back to the car, my wife said, "This play is going to change our lives." And I remember she said that, and sure enough, that was the play that got me into the sort of into the machine, into the the O'Neill Festival, which led to Humana Festival of New American Plays, which led to more regional theaters knowing who I was. And so I'd have to recognize that, because that play really kind of set it off for me, and charted a course that's led me to where I am right now. Even because along with that, I felt it important, like as I developed this reputation and this identity as a playwright, it's important for me to continue to feed the other parts of my creative
Yes.
life that got me here. So like as a poet, as a rapper, but also as an educator and sort of
Mhm.
a organizer and a collaborator and a mentor, all of that. I had to honor all that work as well. And so it's led me into this arts leadership position, which is like I get to be a part of a lot of different things, because ultimately to me it just boils down to this human need for story expression and conversation, and so yeah, that's been the highlight is how we got on, which is available from play scripts that everyone said.
There you go. That's what I'm hoping you're going to do, Idris. Plug away. There's a question that came up, so I'm going to read it, and this is from Ibrahim. It said, "Which of your works is the biggest learning tool for you going forward?"
Which of my works is the biggest learning tool? Is that right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, hmm, that's a good question. Yeah, I just throw this out. I have a spoken word piece, breakbeat poem called "Say My Name," which
Mm.
is available. You can if you put my name in YouTube with "Say My Name," you'll see it on there. And it was a poem that it's been one of my most requested and one of my most popular. And it came from Sidney Mahone from University of Iowa, who said, write a piece about your name. And I was like, write a piece about my name, and I was like 35 years old at the time. It never occurred to me. And and so I think the learning for me in that is, I think it's important to always tell the story of our name, because in the
Yes.
telling of the story of our names, we're telling the story of where we come from, of our people. And there are some
Yeah.
cultures where, when in some cultures, when they introduce themselves, they acknowledge their family, or their culture, or their community, or their affiliations, and so I think it's an important thing to do, particularly of people of diaspora. um,
Mm.
so that was the learning experience there, and it reminds me to this day. But also too, to just it took someone to say, write this basic thing
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have done that on my own. So it's also a reminder sometimes to like get out of my way and just tell the story. Just tell your story.
Yeah.
It's like that's like Stevie Wonder song. You better tell your story. You know.
Mhm. And it's always the very like the most sort of basic questions, the simplest questions that are the ones that we really have to sit with for a
Yeah.
while, and sometimes they're the most complicated ones.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
fact, because they really get you to kind of go like, what do I want? Or like, you know what I mean? Like there's really like, tell a story about your
Hmm.
name. You're like, oh damn, that's such a, what, that should be a part of every writing course. There should be
Yeah.
something that's like,
Yes. That's
tell
where
the
I
story
start.
of your name. That's
That's where
fantastic.
that is one of in my arsenal. The prompt that I do
Yeah.
all the time. It's important because everybody's got one, but
There you go. We're
everybody's
just giving
story is
gems out
different.
here. Yeah. Yeah,
Listen, we do it for the culture.
exactly. That's right. It's for the
We do.
culture. Any other, so that's just some serious, okay, good advice about telling one story. I see someone
Respect.
snatched that. So we're happy that these gems are landing in laps, you know what I mean? People's laps. That's what
Yeah.
they're supposed to be doing. So this is all good.
Yeah.
And then that being said, this one question that we're asking everybody that comes on BTC Writers Room is, who do you write for?
Um. Uh. I. I always say that I write for my community, right?
Mm,
Um. And I think that I mean that in a lot of different ways. I mean, obviously, I feel an obligation to my ancestors, and so I write to please them. Um, I think that, but I also know there are people on this earthly plane, yeah, that for whatever reason, the frequency I'm at is the frequency they're at. And so I write for those folks too. I write for myself, I write for my children. Um, yeah, and I write out of a complicated love for humanity, and complicated with a capital C. In the way that love not like Keith Sweat, but like love like, this is why I have no hair. You know what I mean? Like that kind of love. Tolerance, patience, time,
Right.
forgiveness. Yeah.
Compromise. All those
Yeah.
big words there.
Yeah. Listen, not a
Nah,
game.
that's real. That's real. And then we've got a few aspiring writers that are here.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Why are you on this and not writing right now? No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Idris!
Uh, I'm kidding, but I'm also not. Uh,
I know
you
you're
know,
not. I know there's a
no,
hidden
it's
truth there. It's like, yeah, that's true.
no. You gotta believe. I mean, you gotta believe, and you gotta, and on that word believe, like you gotta find your believers, right?
Yeah.
You gotta find your believers. And you got to figure out to the question you just asked me. You got to begin to figure out who you're writing for, and you got to write for yourself, but you also have to write for the people who are on your algorithm and your wave, and you got to be grateful.
Mm,
You have to be grateful. It's hard to not look at other writers and why come they get. I do it all the time. I'll set okay, oh, y'all just gonna keep producing, you know what I mean? But you got to dead that and know that that comes from a negative place. But ultimately, you were put here. You were put here to write. That force is more powerful than you. So be humbled by that.
mm,
Do
nice.
the effing work, and say yes to yourself, and stay at it, and
Ooh.
don't agonize about a first draft. It's not that deep. It's going to be in the revision that it gets better. If you're a playwright,
Mhm.
embrace collaboration. Like know that this is a collaborative form and use your collaborators. Use them. Use them to help make your work better. Don't be shy about asking for that. Um, I would say for those writing so poets or people writing in the performance space, like get it in front of people as soon as you can, so you can
Yeah.
really hear how it's landing and see how it's landing with other people. So figure out your process, So, but it's a whole thing. It's like I say, it's like learning a martial art. It's like every person can move in some way, right? Most people can move in some way, and martial arts is is a series or a set of directives and you know what I mean, and how to move and to and similarly that's what writing is. It's like
Mhm.
language and communication is something that all living things have in one way, shape, or form. And as a writer, you're trying to master the craft of communication,
Yes.
and so study all the ways that people do that. Study all the ways that people communicate. Don't just engage with your
Yeah.
particular medium. Study all of it. I get most of my gems from comedians. I learn a ton from comedians. I learn obviously a lot from rappers, preachers, preachers,
Mm.
preachers, y'all. Especially black preachers.
Especially black preachers, yeah.
I'm telling you, they use the same formula every Sunday, and it works every time. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the
I love
content,
what you,
obviously, but the structure
yeah.
works. Anyway, that's my advice.
No, that's fantastic advice. And just in terms of, I just want you just to maybe elaborate on when you say find your believers.
Yeah.
How did you find your believers, and what do you mean by actually what do you mean by believers first and foremost, and then how would you advise going about finding them?
By believers, I mean it almost like pretty literally. Like, who are the people that buy what you're selling? You know what I mean? Like, who are the
Mm,
people who nod their head when you're saying something or you putting something
yeah.
down? Who are feeling you, right? Those are believers. The people who, all the people who've been in the chat and tuned in. These are the believers that you've acquired. They're like, yeah, tell me more, Samelia, tell me more beyond the canon. So that's what I mean, and the way you find that is, listen, these are marvelous times. We've never, you can build a platform, you can, start a page on Instagram, start Facebook, live stream, send your work out to play content. I mean, there's plenty of platforms. Build, start. Don't aspire for Broadway out the gate. Like, you got to figure out who you are first. You got to figure out what you sound like. That's what Miles Davis said. I had to figure out how to play it like myself.
Yes. That is key.
Yeah.
Oh, your internet just, I don't know if it's just me, but your internet just kind of been a bit funny.
Still going?
Hello?
Still funky?
Yeah, still a little funky, yeah.
Hold on, let me switch
Still a
something
little
up here.
funky, yeah. Okay, cool. But yeah, as you do that, I'll just say that I think that's so important, because most of the time we have people in our networks. It's us all. It's us all. Sue, I'm trying to get to the grips of what you're saying to me now. But yeah, I think most of all we have those people in our networks. It's also how we networks. It's about how we connect with them, you know what I mean, when we reach out to them, and how do we sustain those relationships as well with them. So that's definitely key. Let me see if I can bring Idris back in again. I think it's where he was just working on getting a better connection with us. That's better. That's better. Fantastic. Yeah, so thank you for responding to that. Although it sounds obvious to us, I think what I really loved in terms of what you said was just in terms of how active, we need to be, you know what I mean? And just to remain active. And what I was just saying was just in terms of like sustaining relationships, this whole business is about relationships.
100%.
So just, just to, sometimes people know that, but they don't act accordingly, you know what I mean? And it's really important that you find ways to sustain relationships, find your believers, but yeah, check in with them, send them updates in terms of what you're working on, and that level of communication is key,
Yeah, big facts.
Yeah. So we're on to the next bit now. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I'm trying to create. Maybe I should get you to do a beat, but I don't know. We won't do that. I feel like, what is that dreadful thing when someone tells you that they can sing or that they can rap, and you almost want to go, do you want to just
it would be dreadful if the free, and I worry about the connection. It would just be so bad. But like I said, I have stuff. If folk want to hear, I'm going to put it in the chat. Folks could check out Rhyming While Black.
Yeah,
folks can check out Breakbeat Poems. These are albums that you can get anywhere there's albums, and then you can just check it out, and then it's like, I don't like that, I don't care for that, or you'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool, and then it doesn't have to be awkward.
There you go. There you go. And also follow Idris, right? Follow Idris.
Please.
Just to remind, before we go into the 3 plays of which you wish you would have read, before you entered into the professional industry, we are also giving away these 2 plays as a bundle. Word. So Fairview, we're giving the play away, and we're also giving One Night in Miami away as well. So every Wednesday we give plays out. We give away play texts as our way to help you build your home libraries. So if you want to win these plays, then you know what to do. And we've still got the Katori Hall play anthology as well for grabs. You just need to tag us on any of our social media platforms and tell us that you want to win. Boom, and then you might get a chance to win these plays. So definitely do that. Again, you can use this chat below. Saru is our sort of our admin behind the scenes. So she's looking out for anyone who's interested in winning any of these plays. So definitely just got to do that. So we're ready. We're ready for you, Idris.
Yes.
People, get your pen and papers ready. This bit I I love. And you know what? I didn't realize like, how many playwrights love this portion of it. They're like, oh, we're so used to talking about ourselves and our work and our process. We want to get to the point where we're like, bigging up the plays or mentioning the plays that,
Yeah.
have inspired them. So let's start with, so what play would you like to start with first in terms of the play that you wish you would have
Okay.
read?
Okay. No. Again, just so I'm clear, these are
Yes.
plays that I wish that I had read earlier, sooner, before I
Yeah, they don't have
began
to be
writing plays.
chronological. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Before
Good.
you
Okay.
began writing plays, because you know what it is. I think the reason why this question is imperative because I remember what For Colored Girls was for me. But
Yes.
I had one play. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That was my
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah.
And I think that as we move sort of further into the industry and we start to we get exposed to sort of different plays, different
Right.
writers,
Right.
that I think that kind of we turn it, we can turn sort of corners in our lives and we're like, oh my God, this play really means a lot to me. It really
Yeah.
validates,
Yeah.
me in a way that I've never experienced before in this industry. And we want to give that to people who are coming into the industry so they can sort of, armor themselves up with these plays before they get
Yeah.
into the professional industry.
Okay, this is good. Okay, great. So first off, I'm going to give one honorable mention. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this play is very, and here's why I bring this play up. This play is very misrepresented. It's often produced what I consider to be incorrectly and inaccurately.
Mm-hmm.
But that play is Thornton Wilder's Our Town. Now, just hang out just slow down for a second. If you read that play, most of the time that play is done in this very folksy, very cute, small town G golly way. But actually, the text of that play, it's a play about death. It's about existentialism. It's about the futility. It's melancholy. It's a minor key play, and it's totally breaks every rule. I mean, Thornton Wilder hated like was a radical in terms of how he wrote for the theater. I mean, that play is not a narrative. It's got a narrator. It's just like it's a really, so if you just read it and really just study the gesture of it or what this writer was trying to get across, there's a lot of jewels and gems in there. And that play was one of the big influences of my play How We Got On was Our Town. So
Ah.
honorable mention.
And that's interesting. I'm glad that you kind of mentioned that way of looking at the work because I
Yeah.
think that there's been some plays that I've seen, and I don't know if people will be able to relate to me on this, but I've seen some productions and I've walked away and I'm like, and then I've read the play, just in my own home, just my own time, and I'm like, wow, this play was saying so much more than what
Exactly.
was conceived on the
Yeah.
stage. So
That's
sometimes, and
right.
there are some times where I'm like, I've seen something, and when things just don't land. When you're watching it and you're like, I'm going to go and read that. I'm going to read that
That's
for
right.
myself,
That's right.
and paint the pictures for myself in terms of
Exactly.
how I think that this
Exactly.
play should be
Yeah.
done. So
Exactly.
there's
So yeah,
something
don't
really in
sleep.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, don't sleep. Don't sleep. All right, now the
I
official
might have to
three.
reread it.
Yeah, yo,
Okay,
I'm
go on.
telling you,
Back on what you just said.
he's
Okay.
doing some stuff. He's doing some stuff. Funny House of a Negro by Adrienne Kennedy.
Hmm.
I really like.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, I like weird things. I like surreal things, and I like black weird surreal things. And it's a very radical punk rock, no holds barred, nutty play, and it feels like a play written by someone who is coming to the form in a very intuitive and real and un sort of calculated way.
Mm.
It's dreamy, it's strange, it's spooky, it's honest, it's yeah, fire.
Yeah.
Um, this is a bit of a I'm cheating a little bit with this one. Uh,
Idris.
so
You're taking a lot of liberties during this BTC writers room. It's got to be said.
listen, it is what it is. Uh, I love Dominique Morisseau's Detroit
Yeah.
trilogy very much. I gotta go, Skeleton Crew, I think is her in that trilogy is like her sort of best piece of like, it's like her most polished of the three.
Mhm.
But there's something about Detroit '67.
Yeah.
There's just something about that one. There's something about that. When I've directed it before, I've taught it a bunch. Um, but
Special.
um, but I think if I had read that play when I was a baby playwright, it's so familiar to me because I come from Detroit. I mean, she wrote, these are my people, like these are my parents and aunts and uncles that she wrote about. And there's just that familiarity in it that I think would have been helpful for me because I think I was writing so far away from myself when I first started. So that one, so Detroit 67, Funny House of a Negro. And three, I would say is, there is a, you know what I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with and this playwright has often said, oh no, you know what I'm gonna say? You know what I'm gonna do? This is a newer play. But the plays of Luis Alfaro, particularly like his
Mm.
Greek reinterpretations. But I saw his play Mohada at Oregon Shakespeare a couple years ago, and it just punched me straight in the chest. And that text is so fierce and powerful, and it's such a masterwork in allowing your characters to be messy and but also doing all the work meticulously so that when your character makes a really scary, terrible choice, even though you don't agree with it, you get
Mm.
it. You get it. And
Mm.
that to me transcends. I tend to be a bit of a writer with an agenda. I can't really front that. That's sort of my hip hop influence, but that play really doesn't have one. That play really truly is. This is this journey this tragic journey
Wow.
that this woman goes on, and it's just masterfully done. So,
Yeah,
again,
I don't know that play. I'm definitely
Mohada,
gonna
yeah,
yeah, I don't know Mahada. I don't know that play. And I will read it actually because the reason why there's a little hesitancy in me because I am a little bit like it has no agenda. Like it has
I'm sure
no,
it does. Yeah, I'm sure it
yeah,
does. It
no,
just didn't seem that way to
yeah.
me. It surprised me. It truly
Mm,
surprised me.
okay. Okay, there's three fantastic plays.
Yeah,
Three
thank
fantastic
you.
plays. And I'm sure you could go on as well, to be honest with you. I could feel
I
you
got
holding
joints.
back from us, man. Yeah.
Oh, I got joints. I got joints. Because I used to teach
Yeah.
playwright. I mean, I taught playwriting for many years, and I like newer work. I also just like
Hmm.
newer work, and was specifically trying to bring plays by writers of color of different
Yeah.
cultural backgrounds and whose work is very much influenced intentionally by their cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a lot. There's a play by Larissa Fasthorse that I'm obsessed with too. It's a really mean little punk rock play. It's called What Would Crazy Horse Do? That's another play that I have
Mm.
never stopped thinking about. I saw a stage reading of it, and I think about that play all the time because it's so mean.
Mean in what way?
It just doesn't give. It just gives no
Okay.
fucks. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And it's not kind to its characters,
Mm.
and it really, it's brutal. It's asking some really hard questions about purity, about ethnic purity.
And if someone was wanted to engage with your work, what would be the play? What would be the, obviously they should read all of your work, but
I
what
mean,
would
all of
be
them.
the, that was a stupid question. You know what I mean? Like, where should they start? What would be the, okay, let's do it that way. Not
How we
not
got
the
on?
one play
I
that
mean,
they read.
you got how we got on. I gotta say how we got on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Okay,
just
nice.
that's the way. I mean,
Nice.
it's a play that's very much inspired by my own upbringing, but it's very much
Mm.
aesthetically, the way that I approach that play, it's nuts. It's not a play. I mean, there's like this DJ narrator character, and scenes are sort of treated like records, and it's it's the yeah. I mean, I've never been able to pull anything like that off since then, much to my frustration. In a good way, though, in a good way.
Oh, okay. So everyone, how we got on, definitely invest in that play, explore that play. Idris, it's just been amazing talking to you. I've
Likewise,
thoroughly
likewise.
enjoyed, and I hope you come
Thank you.
back. I hope that we
Of
can do
course.
this in
I'm in the
person.
family.
You
Yeah, I'm in the
know,
family. I'm in the
there you
family.
go. That's it. That's it. Someone said
All
they're gonna
right.
buy it now. There you go. Thank you so much, Idris.
Yeah,
Okay,
pleasure.
we're gonna what my family say, love you and leave you. We're definitely going on to sort of giving away
Okay.
these plays, but thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon. All right, take care, Jess. Bye. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Idris is awesome. We've got here. We've got some really lovely comments about Idris. Yes, definitely come back. Saru says, some really great gems. I mean, I hope everyone caught all the gems that were spoken about during our conversation. Gonna follow you, Idris. Yes, definitely follow Idris. Again, we're giving away this bundle this week. That's Fairview. And also One Night in Miami. Like two very hot plays. If you're interested in winning these, then do comment below. For now, how long have we got before we get kicked off? Oh, we've got a little bit of time. Let me just bring, in the meantime, let me just bring Saru back in. But yeah, fantastic, good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us today for our BTC Writers Room. It's been brilliant. We've got only a few more episodes left before we finish this season. Can you believe this, Saru? Like, what, we've got like two more sessions, two more episodes,
two more like amazing
two more
guests as
episodes,
well.
and then we're going to take a break, and then we're hoping to join. What am I trying to say? I'm a bit tongue-tied now. I'm just kind of,
We'll be back for
and then
more.
we're gonna
Season
we're
two.
going to continue with season 2. Okay, they're having a bit of a battle going on right now. This is so funny. On the comments, I think
like,
there's some people.
Scissors thing without me.
Is that what? Yeah, I think that. Okay, so there's a battle of there's a few people on here that want to win this bundle. I'm going to, yeah, okay, so I'm going to ask Saru first. Saru, because you are being on the pay giveaway, and it's doing really well. Saru,
Yes.
can you hear me?
I can
Just
hear
sit back a little bit. Are you trying to see the screen? Is that why you're so close to the screen?
I was sucked into the comments. I was like,
your face was like this. I was like, Saru, just sit back a little bit, my darling. Just sit back a little bit.
Ibrahim has got swords going on in the chat, man. Like,
oh, you know how I love an emoji or two. You know how I love that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so this week we're giving away, these are the two. Who said I want the bundle? Who's that? And let us know. Look who's just joined in. You know, these chats, you guys are going in on these chats. They're so funny. Oh my gosh. You know what, Saru? What do you think? So Saru, stop hating. This is hilarious, man. There's a battle of this bundle. So they were giving away Fairview, and we're giving away One Night in Miami. Let me live. I can see the comments. You guys are so funny. Okay, so there's a bit of a sort of a battle going on in terms of who should win. Now I usually choose, but I think I might leave this down to Saru to choose.
Honestly, I don't know, man. Like, because I will say this though, every single one of these feral people right now who are fighting for these books with their whole soul has won so many books.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Maid's Messy hasn't won anything.
Messi's won
and
2 books. She's done well.
Is she just using like different handles? Is that people just like turning against her right now? They're using different handles? No way.
Lily's won a couple of times. Bethany's won a couple of times.
So why don't we do it this way? Why don't we do it this way? Why don't we say this? Okay, so I think that we're going to put names in a hat. This is what we're going to do right now. And because soon as Saru can't decide, I was just hoping that Saru would be like the person who would be like, hey.
Nah.
So I'm going to put all these names in a hat. Because I'm sick of being the bad person. I feel like I'm always the naughty one. I'm always the one that kind of feels mad.
Pass it on, though. You were trying to make me the villain.
Yeah, I was actually. I can't lie about that. I was definitely trying to do that. I can't lie. So who have we got? So we've got, let's see who we
Not
have.
everybody can have a book each.
No, a book each? who's made Messy? Is
That's
that
Kirsty. That's Kirsty. She won Your Monologue
would
books,
it,
the Middle Eastern
okay, that's
ones.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to know who the names are. So hold on a second. So let me just do this. I want to make sure that we're being fair here because it's getting a bit so
Exciting.
Kirsty, so there's Kirsty, there's
There's Laurie.
Ibrahim, there's Laurie, yep, and then
There's
who else? And then
Bethany.
there's Bethany, yeah.
And there's
Is that it?
Ibrahim.
Yeah, yeah, I think I've got everybody now.
This
Okay,
is so funny.
okay, okay. And then
Ibrahim,
what
you
I'm gonna
slayed me with the
do,
swords, man. You slayed me with
okay,
the swords.
so it's just those four. They're the only people that are in there, yes, there's four I've got here.
Does anybody
Ibrahim,
else want?
Kirsty,
Anybody else
Bethany,
is campaigning?
and quickly, well, I'll do this little, you guys are making me do
I
the
got the
whole look.
drum
This is
roll
my piece
ready.
of paper with different names on that. So
Drum
so
roll.
let's see who's gonna win this time. So no one can be mad at us, right? No one could be mad. I don't know. Look, I'm doing the whole shaky thing. Some serious BTC democracy. Okay, all right. Here we go. Here we go. We are
Oh my god, I
going
can't even.
to. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say goodbye to Saru and I'm gonna just bring the person in.
Oh,
All
what?
right.
That is so evil.
Ah, you're not
Right,
gonna
I'm
believe
out
this.
of
You're
house.
not gonna believe this. Oh my God. Okay. This person is gonna just crack up because I. This is the person who's won these books, who I'm just connected with now. This is the name I pulled out. So, I give you 20. Someone's offering money. You're gonna laugh.
Hey!
You're gonna laugh. I pulled out your name, so you have won these books. All the women are gonna be upset with me, man. You know what I mean? All the women are gonna be
Wait!
upset with me. But you're the winner
Jeez!
over him. I can't believe it. Like literally, you were the name that I pulled out of. I didn't have a hat. I had a hand, so I was doing this and just pulling the name. Someone said
I'm
I'm dead.
I'm so excited.
My hair ain't done. Someone was saying that's so funny. You guys are giving me life today, man. This Wednesday, you guys are giving me so much life. So Ibrahim, you have won. You have
Thank
won
you very much.
one night in
Big love.
Miami and Fairview. And it
Thank
was
you.
Saru said it was the swords. You brought the swords. What did I say? You brought the swords to the fight? You brought the swords to like a
I have
fist
to.
fight?
It's a bundle. It's a bundle. Sim, it's a bundle. No, no, and I've been like on my Instagram, I've been plugging it. I've been telling people, come on,
You
free
have.
books, free plays, and it's
Yeah.
a bundle. I mean, I'm not losing out. I'm not losing out.
Oh my God, like, you guys are getting like you're getting fracked now on here. You're a dead meat boy. You're a dead meat boy. That's what Kirsty is saying. Okay, look, we're giving away more plays next week.
Don't worry. Big love to you guys.
Much love
Thank
to
you.
you. No worries. We'll see you again next week. Take
Yeah,
care,
bye.
man. Bye. Bye. Oh my God, you guys are seriously giving me life today. So funny. My cheeks are actually hurting me right now because of the comments. Oh, you guys became real gangster on the chat. Like, I can't lie,
Beginning
but I
so
was like,
gangster. I knew he wasn't playing about, I'm happy Ibrahim got them because them swords were like meaning business.
but you
I
know what
saw
I
them.
love here? People are saying, like, can you send them to me when you're done, Ibrahim? Now, it's
Yes.
up to Ibrahim if he wants to share the place or not. But there's something really beautiful. Look, we're creating this is our own play club, man. This is our play club that's emerging,
I
And
see.
hopefully if we get more, no, you're not feeling me, Kirsty. You're not feeling me no more. You don't like me no more? Damn. You guys are heartless, man. Heartless. But yeah, so we're going to get more plays in. We're going to be talking to our publishers, publishing houses that are connected. People are just joining now. We're finishing. We're a wrap. We've just given away our play giveaway of this week, which was Fairview and One Night in Miami. That's gone
But
to Ibrahim.
if you
But
are
go on.
joining, if you are joining, there is still Katori Hall's plays, one which is still up for grabs right now. And if you just tag us on any of our socials, you will be with a chance to win this. This is really, really great. So we're giving it until Friday. So
Yeah.
keep tagging, keep talking.
Have
And
you got
definitely...
Have you got Katori Hall's play one next to you? It's the one. It has like it's got no. I was genuinely leaving. Okay, cool, fantastic. It has mountaintop in it, and I can't remember what the other. I don't have it to hand, but definitely, if you look at all our social media pages, you'll see we've actually taken a screenshot of the book, so you'll be able to see what plays. It's more than one play. I believe it's like 4 Katori Hall plays that are included in that anthology. So definitely, you know, put your name forward to win that anthology. And then Saru, when will they know if they've won or not?
I will be announcing it on Friday. I'll be announcing it on Friday, and it does have the mountaintop, which I absolutely love. It also has Hurt Village. It also has Hurt Village.
Hurt Village
And
as well. Yes.
you must. So yeah, we'll be announcing on Friday, letting you guys know. But if you haven't managed to win this time, instead of threatening poor Ibrahim for his luck, feel free to go onto our website, www.beyondthecanon.com. You'll be able to see all the plays we've given away so far, and also the BTC 2020, which is the discount code that you can use in order to get even more play text. But definitely, guys, create a community, talk to each other, become friends with Ibrahim. His luck is like, I can't. So people just walk in the light. Talk to him, become friends, share, discuss, and, you know, really kind of get that going on. It's wonderful to see. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're interested in us facilitating a play club, or let us know.
Yes.
Hit us up on if you want to email us, it's just info@beyondthecanon.com. That's our email address. And yeah, and definitely tune in again next week for your chance to win next week's giveaway, and also to listen to a fabulous writer that we're going to have as a guest speaker.
One of the last two.
One of the last two. So stay with us, guys. Oh Lord. Okay, we're gonna go now. But we're gonna go now. But you guys give me, you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure. We're honored to be doing BTC Writers Forum. And thank you for your love. Thank you for tuning in every Wednesday. And please continue to just spread the word to your networks and let everybody know this is what we're doing. So that they can also have a chance to win the playtext too. Saru, it's goodbye from me, Sim. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Saru.
Yes, bye-bye from me too. Bye-bye, guys. See you next Wednesday.
All right, then you take care. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Much love to you guys. Bye. Bye.